Welcome to Outdoors with John. Today we are at Roxbury Land Trust Mine Hill Preserve, a 19th century iron making complex. There's my shirt. I would say that's a shaft, not... With 4 miles of hiking trails, Mine Hill offers a glance into our industrial past in a setting of breathtaking natural beauty. After a very short walk, we come to an intersection here. This whole area to the right is where the furnace and the industrial area used to be. So we're going to hike down on one side of this and come back up the other side. The Roxbury Land Trust has a ton of interesting historical information online. If you're interested in the history of the mines and quarries, I encourage you to visit their website. I'll put a link in the description below. We are walking along the former railroad spur. Coal kilns were once located above the retaining wall on the right. This area here is where they loaded railroad cars. This spur over here, this right away would connect with the berm over there, would be the Sheepog Valley Railroad here. We're going to go up and explore the remains of the forge now. The mine spawned a bustling boomtown called Shalabees and employed hundreds of immigrant workers. At their height, the iron ore mines produced 10 tons of pig iron every day. Whole forests were cut down to make charcoal for fuel the furnaces at the mines. Despite substantial initial investment and elaborate planning, the steel-making operation was plagued by problems from the outset. Just 5 years after the enterprise began, the furnace shut down. The granite quarries, however, continued to flourish. Purchased by the Roxbury Land Trust in 1978, Mine Hill became a national historical landmark a year later. Today, the forest has reclaimed the land and healed most of the scars on the 360-acre preserve, but the remains of the mine and the furnaces stand as a reminder of our industrial heritage. We are standing in an area that was once a large steel mill, and this here is one of the blast furnaces that was used inside of the mill itself. From here we get a great view of downtown Roxbury, which in the time was called Shalabees, if I'm saying that correct. This area here was dominated by the Sheepog River, and across the ways here we can see the railroad spur, and in the distance would have been the Sheepog Valley Railroad. And there are still many historic structures in the Roxbury station area, including the station, which is now owned by a distillery, that you can stop by and visit. This road over here leads to some of the granite quarries, which we'll explore later on. Roxbury granite was shipped to Bridgeport by rail and then by barge to New York City for use in building the buttress of the 59th Street Bridge, as well as the railroad approach to Grand Central Station. In Roxbury, granite from Mine Hill was used to build both the Hodge Library and the stone chimney at the Miner Memorial Library. Here we're standing in front of the roasting ovens, which was the first firing process of the ore here. Let's go inside and check one out. Standing here behind the roasting area, and over here on our left is the donkey cart path. It's a mile-long path where they brought ore down from the mines and transferred it to be roasted. As it worked its way down the hill, it went from mined ore to steel. Mine Hill's Donkey Trail was built between 1865 and 1867 to link the iron mines of the smelting complex nearly a mile below the narrow gauge railway. At the mouth of the tunnel, workers cut the trail into the hillside. Further down the hill, they painstakingly built an elevated railway of double fieldstone. It was filled with smaller rocks and rubbles, resulting in a 6-foot wide path, elevated platform to help keep the tracks at the level at a steady grade. Ore carts would travel down a path with a brakeman slowing their progress. After the carts were unloaded at the roasting ovens, donkeys would pull the empty carts back up the hill to the mines. We're currently on the blue path, which is the road that takes us to the quarries from the bottom of the iron ore complex. We're going to loop our way counterclockwise up towards the mines, and then we're going to walk down the donkey trail. So we can see here piles of, irregular shaped rocks, but you can see some of them have drill holes along them, along the edges, and that's, how they removed it. And they would just take them in a cart and dump them in a pile and keep digging for the good stuff. Yeah, more cables here. I haven't seen any evidence of a derrick yet, but chances are there was a derrick on top of this hillside that would lift the blocks up and out of this area where all these cables are sitting. Check this out here. All right, here's one of the mine entrances. The hole was probably much bigger than this, and they had to keep the water out. But this is where they would have brought carts in to go get the silica and other minerals that they used for the operation. This structure here is cover to the mine shaft here, and these slits underneath on the bottom here allow bats to get in and out. There are a lot of bats that hibernate here in the mine shaft itself. And it looks like they have an access panel here if they need to get down into it. Yeah. All right, we just walked a little bit further back on the donkey trail, and here we've got two entrances to the shafts. I think they're either shafts or tunnel entrances, so we're going to check them out here. Working by candlelight and using only hand tools and black blasting powder, miners dug more than a half-mile of tunnels beneath the hill. The three main tunnels had rails laid inside of them, with the bottom tunnel connected to the donkey trail for transporting ore to the roasting ovens. Come to some kind of an intersection here, and I think we're looking at another mine entrance. Jeff is exploring it. Let's go check it out. Oh yeah, see, that's got protection on it so people don't climb inside. At long last, we finally are on the donkey cart path, which connects the lower mine entrance with the processing area we saw earlier.
donkey path passes a small pond where a side trail takes us across the dam for a better view.
Okay, we've reached the end of the donkey trail here and we're back at the smelter. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for us today. We did 5.5 miles. This place is fantastic. We really enjoyed the history and the hiking. There are definitely some challenging trails here as well. Thanks for joining me and my son Jeff on this adventure today. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and we'll see you in the next one.